This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Nishay Taylor. A Fargo woman caught on to a scammer's tricks while they were opening accounts with her personal information. She even caught the culprit on video on her front doorstep. Valley News Team's Alex Larson has more.
It's been a whirlwind 24 hours.
What you're seeing is a scammer in action. Gretchen Tinjum says there was a note for a signature for delivery on her front door. Half an hour later, a man came and took the note off the door. She thought this was a simple misdelivery attempt by FedEx because her family had not ordered anything until it happened again.
FedEx tried to deliver that second box on Friday. It was 11:28 when FedEx was at my door. 5 minutes later, a signature registered with FedEx that it was signed for.
And it was not a coincidence. FedEx told her the packages were coming from Verizon. And Tinjum says she has never been a Verizon customer.
I started contacting FedEx and Verizon and trying to get to the bottom of all this in just a 24-hour time frame. And when I checked my emails, I saw that everything started Monday morning about 4:30 in the morning.
She was able to get the receipts of 2 iPhones ordered from Verizon after the scammer had used her personal information to make the account.
There's even a receipt and it shows the phone numbers, actually the serial numbers for the phones that were ordered too, so those phones could be identified per those specific numbers for those phones.
Verizon shut the phones down and put her in touch with the fraud department.
No withdrawals from my regular bank account and any other credit card that I use.
But she soon got a letter with a Cash App debit card in her name, another service she's never used. After checking the Verizon receipts, she learned the person had used that debit card to purchase the phones.
Don't know how Cash App works. I just want to make sure that my account with Cash App that was opened in order to buy those phones gets canceled and that no funds of mine can go anywhere.
In the last 24 hours, Tinjum alerted credit companies and banks of the issue, as well as putting a flag on her own social security number. She says she doesn't know how her information got out, but now she hopes people will be more cautious.
Always be vigilant, even with old accounts, whether it's credit cards, emails. Pay attention to who you're giving your social security number to. Even if it's someone that's trusted at a business, you can never be too careful.
In Fargo, Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Tinjum says a police report has been filed. Now, if you recognize the man in the video, you are asked to call dispatch at 701-451-7660. Now, if you need help with an issue in your community, you can call our whistleblower hotline at the number on your screen. It's 701-369-3187. Leave your tip and we'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. A 65-year-old Drayton man is dead after a head-on crash that happened last night. The collision occurred just before 7:45 p.m. on Highway 66 near Drayton. Authorities say the man's vehicle had driven into the eastbound lane and collided head-on with another SUV. The driver of the SUV, a 24-year-old Williston man, was taken to a local hospital to be treated for serious injuries. The Drayton man was pronounced dead on the scene. Law enforcement says he was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. The collision is still under investigation by the North Dakota Highway Patrol. For 4 decades, the Dilworth Fire Hall has served the surrounding communities, but now it's in desperate need of upgrades as the town continues to grow. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling shares more on the long list of upgrades needing to be addressed.
We've been able to make do for 4 decades. And with this, it's a step to do better for our firefighters and for our community.
The Dilworth Fire Department has been operating in the same building since the 1980s. But with the rise of mutual aid and more people moving into the town, the need for a new fire hall is becoming apparent.
Well, obviously that would be a great thing for the city to do, and it would be it'd be great for our area as well. We not only serve the city of Dilworth, but I also mentioned the 4 townships and Georgetown, but we also have mutual aid with every fire department in Clay County, to include Moorhead.
According to Clay County Sheriff and Dilworth Fire Chief Mark Empting, there is a long list of issues that need to be addressed in the fire hall. There is a leaky fire hydrant, and the area where they fill their oxygen tanks is in the garage where diesel fumes could get in there. This includes where the volunteer firefighters get dressed, which is cramped up next to where the fire trucks take off.
The fundamental premise of this is greater fire protection for our residents. And with the expanding role that fire departments play, it also means, quicker responses to medical emergencies and car accidents. So the facility itself does mean greater protection to our citizens.
In Dilworth, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
The hope now is to have the funds in place in a new fire hall within the next year or two. Meanwhile, 30% of high-rise buildings in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv have been destroyed, says the city's mayor. Throughout the city, there are about 8,000 high-rises. In addition, the city has more than 100 schools and 69 kindergartens destroyed, as well as hospitals, maternity hospitals, substations, some transport and roads. He also says the damaged buildings are planned to be restored using new technologies, but added many of them will have to be rebuilt from scratch. The Lincoln Memorial was briefly closed to the public today after celebrating university graduates left a mess on the steps of the monument. That's according to National Park Service officials who said litter, broken bottles, spilled wine and champagne were seen the morning after the unofficial gathering. The memorial was reopened at about noon after staff cleaned up the mess. No arrests or citations have been made. Numbers revealed from the 2020 U.S. Census show that residents in some states were undercounted and other states were overcounted. In Congress, in some states, a new report from the U.S. Census Bureau says that 6 states, including Arkansas, Tennessee, appear to have a larger population than was officially counted. On the flip side, 8 states were overcounted. Those included Minnesota, Delaware, Hawaii, and Massachusetts. The miscounts are significant enough to affect federal funding and representation, but it may have helped save congressional seats in Minnesota and Rhode Island. Later on Valley News Live at 10, the second largest manufacturer of baby formula says it's increasing production. But first, summer's up next with a look at how long these cold temperatures are expected to stick around.